Okay.
Huh?
Huh? Oh, there we go.
I didn't mean it like that.
Turn that up for me.
What I'm trying to say is, Wolfgang's actions may look random from an outsider's perspective, but from his perspective...
Oh, yeah. So, what happened is we were all for the cosmetologist to have been the killer. Turns out she was also trapped in that room with him. He was, well, they don't know yet, but I totally know because of the little needle mark in his neck. He was drugged, so he was hallucinating. He already had a knife. It was going to be like a fight to the death in there, basically. And there was a bomb that went off and it killed him. So she was like basically locked in a room with a dead body to make her look suspect. But she managed to pick the lock, escape, and get out of there before anyone else found her. So.
Well, judging by his behavior, it seems like he saw something which shook him to his core.
Probably his dad. He was hallucinating pretty hard.
Like, there was something in the room that Diana didn't see?
That's impossible! It was only me and Wolfgang in the boiler room!
I don't believe Jean meant it in a literal sense.
Wolfgang literally saw something?
What?
He thought he saw something, is my point.
You mean he had been hallucinating?
What did Wolfgang hallucinate for him to turn out the way Diana described?
You'd be surprised by the sort of things our minds can invent. I'm lucky to have never experienced anything myself, but I know some who have hallucinated nasty things. Demons and monsters. Or the feeling of being tortured. If Wolfgang went through something similar, I can see why he lashed out.
My poor boy. Every time they show his picture, I'm just like, damn it, he's gone. Hold on, I'm putting this over my shoulders. My office area gets really cold because I have a big window, and I, for some ungodly reason, still haven't bought window curtains. I need to buy window curtains.
Now what the heck is going on at sea?
Of course, these hallucinations don't just happen out of the blue. More often than not, they're substance-induced.
Substance-induced?
Look at that, someone used the pharmacy.
Just say Wolfgang took a hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenics?
Oh, Kai.
One which induced a lot of fatigue, too, judging by the way he lumbered about in Diana's account.
It would explain why Wolfgang mostly stayed in one place.
One place, which happened to be in the water.
Seems very deliberate. Aye. I reckon the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious in order to drag him into the water, but knew he would eventually wake up again. So they drugged him with something which would basically make him despondent. As for where the drug came from...
Oh no! Don't tell me the killer robbed...
I knew exploring it was a bad idea.
It? What's this it we're talking about?
I love you, Cassidy. I make fun of you a lot, but it's hilarious.
The pharmacy, obviously. Why the heck did we think leaving that place open was a good idea? Now someone's stolen an item and drugged Wolfgang. Fuck! I knew our promise was too good to be true! I can't trust any of you guys!
I love how panicked he is. He's such a baby.
And don't say Wolfgang drugged himself! Who wants to be tortured by demons?
Well, stranger people do exist.
That's rich coming from you!
It's just as I predicted. Exploring the pharmacy ended up paving the way for murder. Should I have made more of an attempt to stop people from exploring? Bitch, I was exploring too. Back then, all I did was... With cautious yet determined expressions, the students entered the newly opened pharmacy. Giving everyone unrestricted access to medication sounded like a disaster in the making. But having already evoked the group's ire after speaking my mind before, I wasn't about to make the same mistake twice. I'll just stay quiet. Let them do their thing. Then again, nobody would have listened to me. Especially not with Wolfgang in control.
If we know where the perpetrator got their chemicals, I guess our next step is figuring out how they did the drugging.
Agreed. It would help us better understand the timeline of events, and potentially even validate Diana's testimony.
Nom, nom, nom.
Sounds like you guys can leave this one to me. I'm the kind of person who knows someone back to front the moment I meet them. If you haven't already realized, I've gone and read this killer like an open book.
Jet, you sweet baby boy.
You're the last person I trust to reach a correct conclusion.
Just you wait! The second you hear what I gotta say, you'll be eating those words.
I hope this is gonna be like actually spot on. Pinning down how Wolfgang was drugged may validate Diana's testimony. The question is, how did the killer drug him? With the needle, because of the puncture wound. I already know this. I'm smart. Jet my goat. 10 pieces of metal, awesome altitude, fetch quest. Wolfgang's knife. There we go.
I bet the killer took a pill.
No.
Forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Nope.
Just jab him at that point.
Oh, I forgot. Right trigger. I don't need to listen to the rest. I already know where it is.
When Wolfgang's wounds were discussed earlier, it was mentioned he had a tiny red dot below the bruise on his neck. During the investigation, I thought this dot was a scab from a mole or pimple. But knowing Wolfgang was drugged, it's clear to see what it really is. A puncture wound.
Considering the timeline of events, an injection would check out. If Wolfgang got drugged a little after 8:15 a.m. and was already feeling the effects when Diana arrived at 8:45 a.m., then we're dealing with something which entered his bloodstream in under 30 minutes. Any normal pill would have taken, probably an hour to dissolve.
Whilst an injection would be much quicker. I see.
That's probably another reason why the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious. It would have been incredibly difficult to inject him if he was still moving around. Only when they had him right where they wanted, dazed and unable to fight back, did they plunge the syringe into his neck.
With said syringe being filled with a hallucinogenic.
But if this all happened a few minutes after 8:15 a.m., doesn't that make it impossible to pin a suspect?
What? Why is it impossible?
Because everybody's got an alibi for that time. I mean, Damien and I were in my dorm room, and the other party people...
8:15 a.m. Yeah, I was already in the dining hall with Jet, Mark, and Eva.
I left Wolfgang's dorm right after the morning announcement and spent the rest of the hour with Jean.
When Nona and I were in our dorm room together.
And me and Eloise were already sitting down in the courtyard.
Toshiko was giving me the medication she grabbed from the pharmacy.
Bam.
And,
who went to the pharmacy?
I stayed in my dorm room until 8:40 a.m.
Oh no. If everyone can be accounted for, we really can't assign a suspect.
No, we can. You left. Alone.
So, we're back to
Kill the
square one?
child!
Someone here must be lying.
And doesn't plan to stop.
What's screwing us over here? Is there a part of this mystery we're getting wrong? Or could it be we're overlooking something? It was ruled out as having no relation to the murder because the wires don't touch the water. But the position of it, the fact it's destroyed, the timing of the blackout. One coincidence is easy to wave off, but when it's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, then there's something more going on. There's something more to the generator.
If everyone has an alibi for 8:15 a.m., is it possible the killer never actually attacked Wolfie at that time? But his little note said to come by at 8:15 a.m., didn't it?
Ingrid, do you remember what you said when we couldn't figure out who stole Desmond's taser?
To be honest, I'm drawing a blank.
You suggested we switch subjects and discuss Wolfgang's injuries instead, which we did. As a result, we ended up unraveling more about the case than if we had stuck to the original topic. Right now, we're at a dead end. If we can't get any more leads out of this current discussion, then that's a sign to switch our focus.
I will say, I feel like all of these characters communicate really well together compared to like Danganronpa games, where it's more chaos. They're actually on topic, remembering the lines of discussion and talks, and they have it organized out, and it's really nice.
Switch or
They,
focus
yeah,
to what?
they feel like actual people.
I want to take another look at Diana's testimony.
Mine?
Back when you were describing Wolfgang's death, something stuck out to me.
Oh, he's so hot here. What the hell? I won't give up until everyone knows me as...
Kaboom!
Yeah, right? I hope slowly Damon realizes, like, everyone's actually helping. Because so far, he's still on the line of, and I have to do everything myself. I'm like, no you don't, baby. Look at them. They're doing great. You need help? All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me, except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else. Damon is a loser, I love him. Flop. Crack.
The flash of white Diana described must have been the generator exploding, with the darkness afterwards being the blackout. Think about the order of events there. In just a few seconds, the boiler room's generator explodes, and Wolfgang falls over dead. Doesn't it sound like the two are correlated?
Oi, didn't we go over this already?
We did. The generator has nothing to do with Wolfgang's death. Its wires weren't touching the water.
But it still exploded.
Indeed. Which is why the murder weapon is the taser gun.
Why are you nervous? You know why you're nervous? Because you're a child and I'm gonna murder you. Sorry, that sounds terrible.
Diana said she never used the taser, though.
Then she's lying!
What? That's not true! I never fired the gun!
It's all good. I believe you.
Oh, Desmond, you sweet succulent avocado.
Sure, nobody can dispute the gun was fired. What can be disputed, though, is when it got fired. I wouldn't be surprised if the killer fired that gun way in advance. Like, sometime before Wolfgang arrived downstairs and left it in the boiler room for us to find later.
What? So the taser gun isn't the murder weapon?
I didn't say that.
If Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun or the generator, what other options are we left with?
The taser gun is the only option which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be anything else.
The true murder weapon. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Am I grasping at straws by thinking something like that? No, dude, you have an extension cord. A blown up extension cord.
Anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
Huh?
Ava! What do you mean?
Why is Ava being so against her all of a sudden?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial. The note you showed us? That could be a fake alibi you made for yourself. The fact that it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Yeah, that could be true.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe. But do you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by. Because if she did write them, everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie.
I get what you're saying. But if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck with the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him?
That's also circumstantial. None of us know what really went on between those two in an hour. Ruling someone out because they took a long time to murder is stupid.
Without context? Sure, I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then she took over an hour to kill him with that info in mind.
Okay, but who would enter? No one wants to make a detour down some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
The most covert place? Her words do make sense. After all, I chose to meet Tozu in the boiler room for that very same reason.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun. But where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What?
Didn't we already talk about that?
All you guys did was discuss theories, never anything concrete.
Wait, which storage room was the extension cords in? Was it in the same one Ava was in?
Settling for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line.
It couldn't have been Ava, could it? Oh my god.
In the same way Ava can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators.
So we have to figure out what destroyed the generator? What should we do? Just throw out ideas?
It's what we've been doing this whole time.
Oakley dokley.
Oakley dokley. Hi, Anna Sam. I love that.
Everyone,
Oakley
let's
dokley.
put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks, get set, go!
Non-stop debate. Okay, shit. This one's a little open-ended. Generator, taser gun, odd smell, Wolfgang's hand, shrapnel.
Why did the generator blow up?
Could have just been an electrical fault.
So, a coincidence?
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser was involved.
In that case,
There's
the
not smell.
generator blew up after Wolfie got shot with the taser.
Such a dastardly taser, leaving so many victims in its wake.
I mean, the odd smell is the only other explanation we have. No, I'm long past the point of falling for this surface-level diversion. In reality, the truth is floating just within reach.
Why did the
Could have just been an electrical fault. So, a coincidence? Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence? Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
Perhaps
It's the fault of the
taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might
connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof besides the taser
Damn
was
it.
involved. That's not significant enough proof.
But it was smelly! Damn it! I'm approaching this from the wrong angle.
Why did the generator blow up?
Could have just been an electrical fault.
What's Wolfgang's hands? There were burns marks. Okay. Shrapnel.
So, a coincidence?
Is this the
Generator.
best situation?
Half the generator's wires are melted and what remained intact have been completely singed like a bomb went off inside the machine.
To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator
that made it explode? Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof besides the
Damn
taser
it.
was involved. That's not significant enough proof.
What do you mean is... Hi, Sleepy. What do you mean it's not enough proof? It looked like a bomb went off at the generator. Damn it. I'm approaching this from the wrong angle.
Why did the generator blow up?
I only got a minute
Could have
left.
just been an electrical fault.
Oops.
Coincidence?
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the
Technically
killer
shrapnel.
throw something
At the generator that made it explode?
I feel like it's Ava's that I have to hit it on.
It's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released
Only have 60 seconds,
might
come
have
on.
connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop. Probably. There's no proof.
Besides the taser was involved.
How did I miss it
No, that's
2
wrong.
times? I missed it so much. What the fuck? I'm just like...
Unfortunately, Ava, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder. But there's one possibility you didn't consider. The shrapnel in the water.
Do you mean those bits of red metal which were floating around?
Right. The ones that look like the aftermath of an explosion. Due to their proximity to the generator, it's safe to assume the two are connected.
Can't that just be debris left by the generator?
Except this debris is a completely different color. It lacks the rust the generator has accumulated. We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else.
So
which means
no,
an
Soda,
object
no,
we
Soda,
haven't
don't
yet
say that.
identified was
Don't say
caught
that
in
on
the
Twitch.
explosion.
Don't say that on Twitch. No. Woo! Don't look at us, Twitch. But yes. And floating near it was another out-of-place item. The outlet thingy. Yes.
This is it. In the water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away.
Huh? Did the cord get caught in the explosion?
Seems that cord has the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
From what I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply seems to be kept inside storage closet D. So in a way, yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place.
He said storage D. D. Who looked D? Oh, Jean and Mark entered for D. Okay. Oh, then I don't. Just making sure Ava wasn't part of it, you know?
Storage closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark. And after the power came on, Kai came screaming for us to leave our closets. But I do recall seeing some extension cords peeking out from behind a shelf.
Since we already know the killer raided one storage closet, anyone else willing to bet they raided this one too?
The hell did they need an extension cord for?
Probably something involving the generator, given its proximity to the cord.
Same thing with the red bits. Even though we don't know what they are.
They are a fire extinguisher. Right, the red shrapnel. It definitely isn't debris left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least, not any of the clues that have already been discussed in this trial. If I were to flip my thinking and consider the clues we haven't discussed yet, there's no proof what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel, but when all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one that hasn't. The one thing the mysterious shrapnel might be related to. Not that, 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 not. Wait, the piece of metal, not that, not that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Is the odd smell? No, it can't be the odd smell. Is it the red things right next to it? Nope, I can't see that. Okay. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. Odd smell. Chemical reaction.
This is it.
Oh, it was that. Wow. If only I listened
Hold
to my
that
heart.
thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues. During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did...
Hey, I didn't say I'm the smartest person, okay?
Well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together.
You know, if you're an alcoholic on a budget, cereal and alcohol really do go together. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Cereal and alcohol? Talk about specific.
Mm-hmm. 'Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play.
Wait, you recognize the smell?
Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal, or fruits, or eggs.
I will say, Jean is very knowledgeable. Like, very knowledgeable. Crazy breakfast.
I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it had completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator?
Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us, the shrapnel.
Can someone translate this into less complicated talk?
Kai is our everyday average Joe. I love Kai.
It was just a long-winded way of saying he's using process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered. Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals.
So we're looking for a metal object, which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Here's the funny thing. So when you play this game, it gives you like the logic difficulty, easy, medium, hard. I kind of wonder like how they changed that, you know? Do they just like the hints you get maybe are like, it would be great if it was cylindrical and could take out fires, but the hard would be like, what the fuck is it?
Looking at my notes... When we originally visited the pharmacy, I recorded everything I saw. A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
I got lots of metallic objects in my dorm room, but nothing chemical. Just big old slabs of metal.
Big ol' slabs of metal. Why does that sound so familiar? Hold on. That's right. What Ingrid said just now is similar to what she said the night everyone began bonking together. I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools and metals. At the time, people were talking about their dorm rooms being themed around their talents. Could the shrapnel actually be the remnants of the unique device that guy boasted about having in his room? The only way to know for sure is to put you on the spot. Oh, fuck, wait. Who was boasting about what? Who was boasting about what? Wait, car battery. Jet was talking about he had a car battery. You have a car battery.
It has to be you!
I totally forgot about the car
Jeff.
battery.
I need to ask you something.
What's up?
Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room?
Like, a full-on list?
Whatever works.
Whatever.
Sure thing. I got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories. Blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries, wheels, spare brakes, you name it.
You said car battery and I got an ad for a car? Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Is that magical or something?
Oh, I even have the legendary mantle from the 1984's Grand Prix winning speedster.
How? Never mind. Hold on, I'm drink some water so ad break can go over a little bit. Water.
That's what I was hoping to
So
hear.
did I, what the fuck? maybe whoever sold your information and Twitch is showing you ads, they know that you guys really need a new car. Magical powers.
Cool. So, why'd you want to know? Unless... Wait, I'm not being suspected, am I? No. Don't try to rope me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder.
I know you don't.
High
You have an
five. Kit drive. Now you're fine. These ads, just ignore them. Ignore them. Don't give them your money.
The only reason I ask is because that mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries.
What?
I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
Dang, there goes my fire hydrant theory. I got 5 in a row. 5 ads? Holy crap! I'm so sorry, Ulti. Did they up the ad since like 2025? Oh my god.
And lithium? That's an explosive substance.
You guys are, I think the ads are being a little, what is it called? I think the ads hate you, Ulti. What the heck?
If it made contact with water, gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
I'm sorry, lithium batteries can explode from water alone?
Wouldn't someone have heard an explosion, though?
I did.
Really?
During the tournament. right before we lost power.
Oi, that's right. That was a burn.
Wait! I remember hearing it too!
The ultimate lucky student then, Ulti? I don't know, that might be unlucky.
I initially assumed the generator made the noise somehow. But if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance...
Wait, it might have been 5 short ones? It's either a minute and a half, ads at 30, or 3 minutes at an hour. Oh, okay. I have it set to the lowest that I can set it without Twitch not giving me anything. Because if I say no ads at all, Twitch runs ads anyways, and then Twitch gets the ad revenue and I don't. So it's like, I might as well have ads and they give me money and not just Twitch. Because I was pissed off when I had no ads on my thing and people were saying they were getting ads. I was like, what are you talking about? There shouldn't be any. So yeah, I'm sorry about the ads.
Hey, Jet, were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
You don't know for sure?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging. The packaging isn't red, I can tell you that, but the actual batteries? Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm gonna get that money.
So it can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt?
So what, 15 cents a month or something? That's terrible.
Pretty much.
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
When a lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust? I think, once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
A lithium battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
Lithium isn't a metal I've worked with, but it got beat into my head never to mix it with substances it doesn't like. All that electricity, the battery would have let out when it hit the water. It must have went straight into poor Wolfie.
Aww.
There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay.
I didn't know
if
that.
The reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded. That's really weird.
Is it?
According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
Huh?
Huh. Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blackens can only be a student who kills another student. And Diana.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room, so unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery...
Well, you don't like that sticky man? I like him.
Then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I didn't throw the battery! I promise!
The shrapnel and generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is. A possibility. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit just yet. Makoto. Ignore his name. Taser gun, shrapnel, generator, thin piece of metal, extension cord.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut! Lifting a battery would hurt too much!
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon,
Sorry,
why is there a taser gun?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
Everybody is quick to say the battery was thrown. But when I consider the boiler room and which objects the killer could have leveraged, what that person considers impossible starts to sound anything but.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
Taser gun found the scene of crime. Okay, we already know.
But my arm had been cut! Lifting a battery would hurt too much!
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the
I might be a
murder
little cooked.
weapon, Why is there a taser gun?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
Fuck! Dude, what? Everybody's quick to say the battery's thrown. What that person considers impossible starts to sound anything but.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
No!
Damon, Diana was the only other person in the boiler room.
Ah, right, okay, I'm sorry.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen
from somewhere.
Could have if we tied it up.
So it must have been.
No!
Now is not the time for jokes.
Oh, this part tripped me so much. It's gonna trip me up, dude. I'm gonna die. It wasn't meant to be one.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
No.
But my arm had been cut.
I'm trying to go for the fact it wasn't thrown.
Would hurt too much.
It wasn't thrown.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
They are.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere. So it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
I don't remember what she
If
described.
that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water,
A few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
A few inches in the water? I mean, that's where it probably was. Ha! Boy, that person considers impossible. Ah!
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have
thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen
from somewhere.
So it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon,
Tattered for there was no internal plug, only a freight tip and black substance. A collection of similar looking extension cords. These are fully intact. Internal plug person is slimmed. Singe like a bomb went off inside the machine. Inside the machine.
Maybe.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator. Not the hardest shot to make.
If the battery is related to the case, Diana
could have thrown it in the water.
Dang it.
Damon, Diana was
Hi,
the only
Turbo.
other person in the boiler room.
At least season well. Hey, it said that if it blew up from the inside, my thought process was you could put the bomb in there beforehand, and so she doesn't matter if it's Diana. Trust me, I'm trying to be smart here. Right.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it
in the water. What?
My arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are.
I don't know.
So it must have been submerged.
Another way.
No, this is still the same trial. I'm gonna die. It's 11 more seconds. 11 more seconds. 11 more seconds. 11 more seconds.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water.
I'm dead.
A few inches from.
Anything, just go.
The
No!
evidence tells a different story, mate.
Ow! Okay, I'm dead.
If the battery is related...
Damn it, I missed my chance. Oh! I could still turn this debate around. Hey, can I save?
If the
How
battery
many
is
times?
related to the case...
I do extra things. Okay.
Only Diana could have...
It's not only Diana. I tried the generator. I tried the extension cord.
But
no, I didn't
my
try the
arm had
extension
been
cord.
cut. Lifting a battery.
I tried the taser and I tried the generator on that, but not the extension cord. They gave me 4 minutes for this one. I wonder if it's because they knew I'd struggle.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water. A few inches from the generator. Not the hardest shot to me.
Everybody's quick to say the battery's thrown, but when I consider the boiler room, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah.
The battery is related to the only could have thrown
Damn
it in
it.
the water. Damon.
It's that
Diana
one. I
was
know
the
it's
only
that
other person
one.
in the boiler. If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
Arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are.
So it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
Chunks of unidentified metal floating in the water near the generator. Floating. Floating? I don't know.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water.
A few inches from the generator.
Damn it. Now
The
I'm just
evidence-
getting sad. Ah.
The battery is related to the case. Only
My arm
Oh
had
wait,
been cut.
I had it sped up.
Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight though.
The battery clearly couldn't have
It's been
fallen
since
from
I played
somewhere.
it, but I think Ava's
So it
statement
must have
isn't
been
working because
submerged
she's not
another
saying
way.
it's impossible.
Perhaps something akin to what Eva described? If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun? Maybe it's
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water.
A few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to me.
I was thinking too, like, if it was a few inches and then the shrapnel got blown that way. But no, it was still a few inches away from it.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown
She's
it in the
literally
water.
saying only Diana.
My arm had been cut.
I've tried
Lifting a
taser.
battery would hurt too much.
I've tried generator.
Neo batteries are pretty
I tried
lightweight
extension
though.
cord. I think I just tried
the
shrapnel
battery
on that.
clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere.
I guess the thin piece of metal? But like that's literally just to open the door. Unless they're trying to point the fact that the door was locked, aka someone set this up. And which objects the killer could have leveraged. What that person's considered. Yeah, okay.
If the battery only Diana could have thrown it in the water. Damon, Diana was the only other person in the boiler room.
I thought maybe I was gonna try to say the fact that she had to escape the boiler room, aka which means someone set everything in there up. But nope, okay. Screw it, I'm
The
gonna
battery
try
is related to the case.
shrapnel as well.
Thrown it in the
Nope.
water.
Okay, so that one's
Damon,
completely
Diana
marked
was
out. It's not
The
that
battery
one.
is related to the case.
I've used
Only
all of these
Diana
on
could
it.
have thrown it in.
Neo batteries are.
Pretty lightweight.
Clearly couldn't have fallen.
Couldn't have fallen. I used extension cord. So it's not taser gun on that one either.
Time for jokes.
Because I would have thought maybe the taser gun was set up beforehand.
If the battery
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight though.
No, that's wrong!
What? Wait, how do those two
No.
connect?
The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
How? See, if you look up the generator's item description, it basically just says that it looks like something blew up from the inside. Half of the generator's wires were melted and what remained intact had been completely singed. It's like a bomb went off inside the machine. That makes me feel like someone put the bomb inside the generator, not on top of the generator. That's a slight stretch. That's a slight stretch. Maybe if they specified in the generator's item that, like, it's really tall or something. I don't know.
What makes you say that?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two. However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, would need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot, which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again.
Yeah. Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over to me if he wanted.
Yeah, the logic was kind of dumb here, but I think it was trying to connect you to Toshiko's statement since she says it couldn't have fallen. Oh, because nobody else said it fell. That's her saying it. Everyone was saying it was thrown, but she said it was fall, or to fall. I still think it's her. I mean, I blamed Diana at first, but I think it's Toshiko now, but... because she's the only one who went to the pharmacy.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of? Except the generator.
I mean, it could have fallen off the cement. Yeah,
Are you
anyways.
saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
Damon was saying this person says it's impossible. Oh, see, I got hung up on Ava saying that it's impossible because that Diana's the only person in the room. I was getting stuck on that. Not on top, but maybe... What? What position was the battery? Suspended? Leaning? Teetering? I mean... maybe teetering?
Imagine a domino tile teetering over the edge of a table. If you were to press down on the part which is sticking out, the entire tile would tip over and fall onto the floor, right? What if the killer applied the same physics to the battery? They could position the battery so it was teetering over the generator, and then, from the safety of the concrete platform, use a long instrument to tip it over.
That long instrument being?
Ah! Suspended then. I mean, that's what the extension cord's for, right?
I got it.
I love how it goes in through the whole voice.
The battery may have been
Even though it's
suspended
wrong.
over the generator.
Suspended over.
If the battery is suspended by something, then the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense.
This is it.
The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator.
I don't remember what Danganronpa does, but I do love the extra voices for this game.
If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it.
I mean, that's what I would do.
I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm was bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord. So, what if she didn't?
Hello?
Something else may have been supporting the cord instead.
Something like a taser gun. Wolfgang? An object? An object.
I got it.
It's gonna be like, what object?
Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, Can't something else also hold the cord?
Ugh, my head's starting to spin.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. If I imagine the cord and the battery it's tied around in front of the generator in the same spot where the shrapnel has surfaced. What? In the same spot? So if it was like suspended from here, hanging down, the boxes?
They managed to sling something over the generator using one of them boxes.
I guess it could work if you put the box on top of the generator.
Because that's not an eyesore.
Considering the generator
Oh, I thought I was
size,
talking about weight.
I doubt there'd be enough space for a box to fit.
Sorry.
If there was, the box in question would still be up there right now.
Nice going, David. Sorry, I meant the fact that the weight of the whatever. Fine, it's fine. Well, the extension cord is found over here, so wouldn't it be the railing?
Didn't you say the generator is what the battery's being
There's nothing on the generator the cord could be tied to either. I thought it was the railing. I guess maybe the piping? There's literally nothing else. Maybe the grate?
This is it.
But that would mean someone is in the gaming room did it.
Killer tied the cord to the vent.
Wait.
What vent?
The one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember some light shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is. The vent itself is set a bit far back into the wall. So, you'd probably assume the spot was a small window or something.
If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wallpaper thin, or...?
There's two vents. The boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know these details.
And if she and I are the only two who know these details, Ava, the fuck? Was Ava trying to get revenge on Wolfgang for just being kind of a dick? And also get revenge on Diana because she just doesn't like Diana? No way. Really?
How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
I thought it was Toshiko.
Ava helped me reach the vent.
By?
Letting me sit on her shoulders.
Quite the visual.
Don't rub it in.
Anyway, if the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
Did she vent on cams?
What do you mean?
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
I see. It is an impossible setup.
But she's way too happy about that. I don't know, I still think it's her. Not necessarily. The killer can have greatly reduced the length of the cord by doing that. Cutting it. Cutting the cord, tying the cord around Wolfgang, or wrapping the cord around the battery. Just cut it. It's a simple answer.
Cut the cord using what exactly?
Never mind, fine.
Scissors? That's what anyone would use, right?
And where exactly did these scissors come from?
Fine, just
Could've been
tying it around the
storage closets.
battery.
They're packed with tons of stuff, so...
Well, I've been through those closets twice now, and I never saw scissors.
Not even pliers?
I didn't see pliers either.
Could the cord have been cut with Wolfie's knife?
You believe the victim set up the murder trap?
So this whole thing was a suicide mission?
Yeah, that's definitely not the case. I'm sorry. Wrapping the cord around the battery.
I got it.
I'm gonna die.
The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy.
Just gonna... I'm on thin ice. Hey, for this next ad break, I'm probably gonna go use the bathroom. I won't lie. I'm getting nervous because of how close I am to death.
If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they need to wrap a lot of cord around it. Probably to the point there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by.
Also, the other thing too is Mark was like, don't get near my shit, don't touch my shit. So I'm like, Mark? Bro, there's so many people it could be, I swear.
So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water.
So much effort.
Okay. With this ad break that's coming up, I'm gonna use the bathroom. If that's okay, just say I gotta use the bathroom. But how come it hasn't come up yet? Well, I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back. Right back, I promise. Okay. What the hell? The ad break just started? Should have started an ad before going to reset the timer. I didn't reset the timer though. I was just letting it play. Oh no. In the meantime, I'm gonna make pizza rolls. Oh, pizza rolls. Hell yeah. I can't believe they left us. What the hell? No, stay. No, I have to. It's a good thing to start ads before you go for breaks. That's true, but... Oh, I'd have to click over onto the other website to do that. Okay, well, either way. Ulti gets 5 ads again. Sucks, Ulti. You're right, it was the perfect time. I managed to tinkle and run back here and before the ad was even up. I'm so good. I'm a fast peer. What's it called? I speedrun peeing. Okay, ad break's over. Let's go.
Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances?
How? Simple. By adjusting the cord's position. All the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. Shit. A certain aspect of the boiler room? What? The vent, right? The water? Call me Miley Cyrus the way I'm tweaking right now. I don't think it's the shrapnel, that's for sure. Okay, I'll just say the vent. I'm gonna die. Oh, okay, good. Oh, thank you.
Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room. Part of my inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side.
The vent can be opened?
Clap. Just one clap.
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed. In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system. To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pulling the entire cord backwards.
Honestly, I found the short amount of time to be stressful, but looking back now, it does a good job adding to the stress of the scenario. Oh man, I feel stressed, alright.
Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself. Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move.
He's just incriminating himself. Like, I know all about the vents. Everyone hates me. I wanted Wolfgang dead. Like, I have his blackmail. That would be a good... someone who's running the whole trial to be the one who actually killed. Just saying.
A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one.
What if you have one of these kind of trials where, like, just like in this one where he died right in front of her, but instead of that, having it so it looks like the person, let's say Damon is in a room with another person and it looks like he actually killed them. Yes, it was in self-defense, but he is technically blackened, but he didn't actually kill them. But he doesn't know that, so he's running the trial as if he's trying to prevent himself from looking like the blackened when he thinks he is the blackened, but he really isn't, and he accidentally gets the right person. Man, that would be a mindfuck.
Which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
The boiler room vent.
Funny.
Uh-oh. She's gonna point it out that it's all of us in the video game, Turnamy.
Earlier.
Turnamy?
You said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room. Since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent? Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
Huh. She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent. It's actually tied to the other one! But I failed to consider the ventilation shaft. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first. Not just that, I never tested to see if the boiler room vent can open inwards. I only got it to open outwards. By that logic, a vent on the opposite side of the shaft. One of us is the killer!
Could only mean one thing.
One of the people in the tournament is the killer. Oh god, I hope it's not Diana. Or not Diana, fucking... this is hard, this is hard. The planning's so detailed. Yeah, I'm like, who in this place is like smart enough to do that? If it's Ava, I'm gonna cry. Not of tears of sadness, of like, what the fuck? You were my friend!
The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way, there's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right! When you described opening the boiler room vent.
Yeah, no shit, Grace. Get on the same page. It can't be Grace. Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Exactly. After which, you could slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end for the killer to then go and tie to the...
Actually...
I love their... actually... Like, I love them so much.
Hello?
Ulysses, you're so cute.
What is it now?
There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
Actually, was he actually pushing his glasses up when he said that in the image? I really hope so.
The logistics?
Its size.
Wink. We're back to discussing this again? Never mind. I'll find a way to combat his argument, just like I've done countless times already. Rebuttal shutdown. Blackout, extension cord, knife, and generator.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
Was it?
I don't see a problem
He was.
here. The killer doesn't even need to open that vent, because they could simply slide the cord between the grates.
Yeah, but it still has a plug on the end of it.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't.
Yep.
How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
His argument might have made sense if it weren't for one fatal flaw.
Indoor extension cords may be thin.
What's the flaw?
But the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those
Oh.
plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
Oh, I can't look at it right now? Damn it! So all I know about the extension cord is that like half of it's burnt off, but the plug is still on the other end. I don't know if it was cut or not, so I don't know about the knife. Fuck. Welcome back, CJ.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't.
This one
How
didn't
can
have
the
a
killer
plug, did
fit
it?
both those plugs?
Hold on. Extension cord. There was no internal clut, only afraid for the collection of similarities were discovered. These ones are fully intact and the internal plugs were particularly slim.
Between the gaps in the vent grate. Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point, and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
These were extension cords for USB-C. No, we have some intact
Indoor
ones.
extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them are.
I'll cut through those words!
Bam! Slut. No. I love extension cords.
If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through. You just need to start with the internal plug.
Slay, whoa. Sorry.
The cords in Storage Closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent. Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either.
I see. When put like that, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
Bruh. The fact that Ava wanted to go in and like set up things early, I'm really nervous it's actually Ava. It actually might be her.
How'd you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord? This is crazy.
Because if it is her, then I'm losing both Wolfgang and her. Those are the two people I wanted to be my best friend. What the fudge?
At the same time, what he's describing sounds plausible.
Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did. Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic. So, it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water. Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realized only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong.
Well, all of this certainly changes things.
Huh?
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent and needed to be operating from the dining hall,
oh no, the people who had the strongest alibis suddenly don't.
then everyone who attended the tournament is a suspect.
Oh shit.
What?
No way!
One of the tournament attendees is the killer? Damn it. How did I not realize this sooner? The fact the killer could even access the vent means they must have been in the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
So we can reduce it down to 8 people.
Fuck.
Damon, Kai, Grace, Eva, Cassidy, Jed, Mark, and John.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Look who it is. Well, well, well. What's up?
I was only trying to improve the mood.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights went out.
I swear to God. They're never gonna have any other team game thingies ever again. Like no more parties. No more.
I had to play music.
Me too.
No, you weren't playing music.
You never touched my equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon play.
I was spectating as well.
I'm at work and saw you on, wanted to come in and say hey. Hey! No more fun, Rip. I'm really nervous it's Ava now. I'm really nervous. I thought it was Toshiko, and now I'm like, I think it might be Ava.
Me too.
Me 3. And Cass 2, I think? I was too focused on the game to remember who was or wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 of y'all were crowded round the same spot?
If I look back at that picture of us playing games, I remember me, I remember Kai, I remember Grace because she looked kind of upset and sitting on the edge of the couch. I remember Jean, I think. I don't remember Ava. Someone was missing from that photo, and I don't remember who it was.
Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent.
Seems like someone is lying again.
The tournament participant who flipped the vent. I could deduce who that person is by determining everyone's positions directly before the blackout. The problem is, I myself had been totally preoccupied with the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? While I never got a good look at the others, I can still deduce their general positions, and if they were near me, from whether or not I heard them. Think, Damon, think. Who and what did I hear back then? Well, I heard Kai bitching at me. It was you. The only person I never heard was you. I remember me. I think everyone talked except for you, Ava. Well, Mark didn't talk either, I think. Shit. It could be Mark as well. I don't know. Mark never talks, though. Mark never talks. I'm going with my gut.
It has to be you!
Yep, I'm going with my gut. Because he looked very upset when he was like, it's you.
The killer is Ava.
His voice actor gets that 100%. Like, that is such a good hit of that note.
Huh?
Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for. Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad.
No, it can't be Kai because Kai was sitting next to me. Literally on the couch.
And everyone else? I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone. Except Ava. In fact, The last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
So Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man! And the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud!
And there was also chairs and stuff in front of the vent too, so I wouldn't have seen the plug that was holding it in place. That's cool. The reverse of Japanese face screaming in fear for shows.
Don't blame me. I was just doing what I was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Oh, and the fact that Diana was rooming with Ava is so sad.
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
I didn't flip the vent.
Well, Damon says you did.
Damon says a lot of things.
While you aren't technically wrong, I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
What plot holes?
The cord.
What?
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question. You left the cord tied to the vent.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Yeah, you got me there.
How did Ava get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible if she knew to untie it at the right time. What, like the moment the blackout happened, right? During the blackout.
I got it.
It's easy, what the fuck?
To dispose of the cord. You just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
She knew where it is.
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
A plop. I'm not like you. I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until I'm known as. Kaboom! I wish I knew what he was gonna say. That hurts me internally. We'll never know. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else. Plop.
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding.
And the second, when you first recounted the story, you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
Then, do you think...
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier.
I should have known. The kid who lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozy trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Sadaka would kill Wolfgang!
Bro, you all bullied her! Just saying, you all bullied her.
You're right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Again, you all are still bullying her.
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so, the sheer volume of items Eva had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes.
They're just doing the same thing as before. Yeah, they're all bullying her.
I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Yeah, talking at her like she's just some piece of milk. I don't...
Right on!
Everyone
No
does
one
treat her
steals
sad.
me.
They already did.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator?
Because you can just go from the top of the dining hall. To slide it through that... Wait. Yes.
If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Ava did, in fact, have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use... Oh, shit. Was the boxes? Am I gonna die here?
Ava grabbed one of the boxes on
Oh
the
shit,
concrete
yep.
platform.
I'm gonna die.
And
That's setting
Oops.
myself up. Removing a box would reduce the amount of boxes on the platform from 3 to 2.
Flexing your mathematical prowess, I see.
I'm saying Damon would have noticed if a box was missing, since there's so few of them to start with. But he never noticed anything, because there were just as many boxes as there were last time.
Game over, man!
Couldn't
Game
you
over!
just move the box back after using it?
Then the underside of the box would be wet, which it wasn't.
This I can confirm. My notes on the box's exteriors mention nothing about watermarks.
Damn it. Game over. Thank goodness they have so many continues. Thank you, game. Just, why not just climb through the other side of the vent?
I'm not tall enough to reach that high.
No, from the other side, you butthole. Okay, fine. You can't climb that. These boxes are already in the water. Technically, these pipes, but it won't let me highlight the pipes. So I guess not the pipes. These boxes?
This is it. Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room.
So just because I pointed at the wrong boxes? Bah.
There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
Ah. She would have known about those boxes in advance, too. Since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Okay, I could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator. And I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Eh?
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup.
The vent was closed?
See, there's no way I can execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
What the?
Then help.
That's bullshit.
Then help.
Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one!
Jesus. Shit.
The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you, and only you!
You've been saying that about everyone here.
Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise!
Hi, Much. Game tournament timeline, boiler room doorknob.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
That seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong. Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Opening it?
Do you have
Mochi?
any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord, with a special knot which can untie by itself. After a bit of time passes...
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament. And now you're saying I'm a killer.
Never mind. What was said before? Focus on the facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Hold up. Damon K, Jean, Jack, Ken, 10 by 8 people. Of those 8, 6 compete in the tournament.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
I mean, I could agree with her with the knot thing.
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament.
I just happened? I mean,
and
that's
now you're
true.
saying I'm a killer.
That is true. Never mind. What was said before? Focus on the facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing
The vent that triggered it.
but something else?
Do you have any
evidence to prove that?
I mean,
Even if
let's
this
agree
trap
at her not tying
You
thing.
can't guarantee
That's
it
very
operated
specific.
the way Damon described.
How?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by...
Nope.
See?
Not so fucking fast! If the knot was that loose, how did it keep the battery in place for so long?
It couldn't. Could it?
Precisely. The knot would fall apart faster than this stupid theory.
She makes a decent point. Okay.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Boiler doorknob.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it.
Storage closet.
You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong?
Maybe
It was
closing the vent that triggered it.
but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Boiler room doorknob?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself.
Maybe it's
after a bit
just
of
got
time
an ad about
passes.
Long John Silver's.
There's even less evidence for that!
Okay. I think
you can't say I'm the murderer just because I
maybe if it was connected to the boiler room doorknob.
Motive!
Wrong? Maybe it was closing the vent
Damn
that
it.
triggered it.
We've already established the vent needs to be closed. Stop derailing.
Jeez.
You can't
This
say
is a
I'm
hard
the
one.
murderer
Well,
just
let's
because
do the
I
obvious
sat near
one.
a vent.
It seems to
The obvious one is the fact that just because she was at the tournament, you know? Oh shit, I only have 8 seconds? 4 seconds. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it.
That.
Gosh, dang it, man. Dang, this is a hard game.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
That seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Our understanding of the mechanism is wrong?
Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else? Do you have any evidence to prove that? Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes. No one here cares about evidence.
I just happened to be at the game tournament.
No, that's wrong!
The really obvious one was the one to go for. My bad, my bad. I thought I was supposed to agree with something. Don't put the blues in there.
No.
It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
Don't take a job. I feel dumb.
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier, but the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit.